Hey everybody. Well, do we have something to look at today? The Citabria, as it sits right now, is 100% ready to fly. It's not finished, but I could literally put fuel in the tank and go fly this thing. As we kind of come around to the side, you'll be able to see that it's still kind of naked on the fuselage. All of the covering is done minus the end numbers, and there's two green stripes that come up the fuselage and wrap around the cowl. But I gotta wait to get the end numbers. I have a friend of mine trying to source a metallic green vinyl that'll be close to what I have, because I gotta have those end numbers on there first before I can get those green stripes on. But other than that, yeah, it's ready to go. And look at this beautiful piece of work that I have created. I am totally beside myself. It turned out so much better than expected. I've been doing this for 30 plus years, so I kind of expected a nice looking airplane, but holy mackerel, this is absolutely fantastic. Little bit of a nightmare with the green. Trying to find a good green was the problem. I wanted to use this metallic green monocoat, which, as you can see, I have, and has turned out absolutely flawless. But as we all know, it's not made anymore. And I didn't have enough to do the airplane, so I decided to buy some Ultracoat green. Just the basic green. What a nasty color. Oh my god, it was awful. It was like a weird teal looking, and it was gross. I mean, literally a gross color. I looked at it and I just about wanted to barf. So I ordered some Chinese covering, and once again, I did not like the color. I thought it was nasty. So then I found another Chinese covering, which is the same covering as the white that I'm using, and it's called the solid grass green, but it still hasn't shown up yet. I had to order it directly from China, and it would have been a good color. So I was kind of stuck. I had the entire airplane covered minus the green, and my good buddy Al Whitaker from down in Kentucky texted me a picture of two unopened rolls of metallic green monocoat. And I said, I will sell you my soul to get those rolls of covering. And he said, how about lunch and a beer? Absolutely. Done deal. So, though this color green does not match what my grandfather's was painted with, this is what my dad used on his back in 1995. So I really wanted to use it. I mean, this was the color that I wanted from the very get-go, and I am just totally happy that I was able to get a hold of some. But the covering itself, the covering job was very simple. Covering this type of situation can get a little hairy. So you can clearly see the raised area where the white covering stops. So from this area forward is just bare wood. From this area back is covering over covering. So it can be kind of difficult to avoid getting bubbles in those types of areas. But it turned out very well. And another thing that was kind of concerning me, and it turned out not even to be an issue, is the fact that I used this white is the Value Hobby new cover, which is a lower temperature film, and monocoat, as we all know, is the highest of hot temperature films that you could get. Normally, this situation wouldn't work very well. In fact, for many years, a lot of people would cover their airplane. They do their base color in monocoat, and they do their trim colors in ultracoat, because you're putting the lighter temperature film over the higher temperature film, which is the way you'd want to do it. So I was kind of worried how this was going to go, putting the high temperature monocoat over the lower temperature new cover, and holy crap, it is a beautiful thing to work with. And the more I use this new cover, the more I absolutely love it. As you can see, there is no Ultra Coat dullness anywhere to be found. This stuff is just as glossy as Monocoat. As I sit here and just touch and feel, if you didn't know this was not Monocoat, you would assume that that's Monocoat. And even though you do have to use the slightly lower temperature to apply it, once it's down, you can put the heat to this thing without putting a hole in it. Just the only ways it acts like a lower temperature film is when you're going to iron it down, especially where you have a seam right here where you have a piece going over another piece. If it's too hot, like at a good hot Monocoat setting, it'll start to kind of shrivel up a little bit. So you can do it, but you got to be kind of quick. Once it's down, you can crank your iron to full tilt boogie and start going over everything. And it doesn't hurt it at all. Where even with Ultra Coat, you have to be careful with your temperatures all the way around. So I am totally beside myself. I mean, look at that. Look at how that green just came around these contours. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So the trickiest part of this color scheme, let's look down. Look at that. That is something to be proud of. The hardest part was actually hand cutting each one of these little scallops, or I call them just little whoop-de-doos. Each one of these is hand cut using a template made out of plywood. In fact, hang on, just to show how simple I am. Oh, I'm watching the 1989 Reno Air Races. I don't care what anybody says, everything was so much better back then. Everything was better and cooler. NASCAR, racing, everything. Ugh. Anyways, so here's the template that I made. Pretty simple. So making each cut, then moving to the next one, cut it, move it to the next one, cut it, and so forth. I did not screw up one time. So that was pretty cool. And like I said, this metallic green is some of the most well-behaved Monocoat I have ever used. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. Anyways, enough on the covering. You can see it looks beautiful. I'm just beyond happy. So, cowl is all painted and everything is done. The 91 Surpass is tucked away nice and neat. Of course, we got just the head sticking out here, which I actually opened up this hole a little bit more so you can actually see the whole thing. I wanted to see it. I mean, look at that. If it's going to stick out and it says OS 4-stroke on it, beautiful. That's cool. Access hole right here for my glow driver. I decided not to go with an onboard glow system, and just a little hole here so I can get access to my high speed and low speed. Other than that, looks really good. I did not use the stock ABS cowl and wheel pants. This is the Fiberglass Specialties. Only way to go. Oh, excuse me. Just got over the flu, so I'm feeling still pretty wore out. Today, I put the black up on top, which is just a simulated window, because the full scale had a window right here, not supplied with this kit. The side windows they're kind of hard to tell, but they do recess from the inside and they kind of poke through a little bit. Those installed extremely well, using amazing goop around the perimeter of the actual window itself, and then bringing it in from the inside and just kind of putting some tape around the outside perimeter to hold it from backing out. That turned out just beautifully. And I'm telling you, I'm enjoying using this amazing goop more and more for things that I would use other products normally. And that turned out really well. Of course, the interior's all painted black, with the exception of the back area. It might be kind of hard to see, but you can see receiver battery sitting in there, servos tucked in the back. Everything looks good. Come on, you stupid camera. I went with a different style switch than normal. This is a Miracle switch I got from Valley View, and it's very similar to the switches that I've been using, except it's got a toggle, very strong toggle. It works really well. Front windscreen, of course, being held on with just screws on the side, but I also go around the entire perimeter with an automotive vinyl tape, and I seal the tape to all these edges with my monocoat trim iron, and that just makes it so it won't lift, and it just works out well. Struts and everything are done. I think they were in the last video. Somebody had asked me if they are functional. No, they are not. And if they are, or if somebody says they are, well, you're putting come on, you stupid camera. You're putting a lot of faith into a Dubro plastic clevis. So I would really hope they're not functional. And let's fire this radio system up here. Of course, Free Sky X18. Got the 20 sitting there, but I like the X18 a lot more. And let's see if we can, come on now, focus. There's my granddad and his Citabria. So there's my Citabria right there. Pretty cool, huh? I thought it was pretty cool. So let's fire this thing up, take a look at the receiver on the inside, if we could ever focus. It'll start flashing blue once everything is good. And this does have the tandem receiver. As you see, wiggly bits wiggle. Had to do the rudder with my tongue there. But yeah, everything works good. The servos, I actually went with a different type of servo than I've normally used. And they're the Futaba U400s. And that's what's in the elevator rudder and ailerons. And they call it a universal servo. It's just another way of saying it's a sport servo. Kind of hard to see, but they're just a basic servo. But they're digital. They're like 20, 25, maybe 30 bucks. I don't think they're quite 30 bucks, but at 6.6 volts, they're right around 100 ounces of torque. You can put 7.4 volts to them if you want. Very strong. And as you can see, this it's pretty strong stuff, and they work good. Going against what a lot of people have recommended, I did install the aileron servos per the design of the kit. Worst case scenario, if something happens and I had to get those servos out, I'd just have to cut this bay out of the bottom of the wing, which really wouldn't be that big of a deal. But chances are probably not going to have to do it, but if I do, oh well, life goes on. And per my grandfather's airplane, the bottom of the wing does not have the scallops. Same with the stab, it's just a straight line going all the way across. It's a sport version of what my grandfather's airplane was. It's not exact to scale, but yeah, looks absolutely fantastic. I am super stoked. It turned out really well. I only have about a minute left before my phone says we've had enough, so I'm going to have to cut this kind of short. And yesterday I did get all the guts and everything put inside the prime stick. If it ever focuses, probably won't. Anyways, there we go. Yeah, so everything is in. The engine is pretty much permanently installed. I still have to seal up around the front end. Got a prop and spinner coming for it, and that will be ready to go. So yeah, just a quick little update there on the Citabria. It is looking really good. Super, super happy with the way it's turned out. Focus. As soon as I get some end numbers on there and get the rest of it covered up, doing some work on the wheel pants right now, sitting there on the bench. And yeah, we'll get this thing wrapped up. So technically, this is project number 4. Crazy, right? And it's only the first of the year. All right, I literally have 10 seconds left before I gotta shut this thing off. So, till the next time, later.